38. Brant. Hi, I said. They stared at me with these looks on their faces. It made me laugh. No, it still hurts. The one thing about being an ink monster, no pain. Being a person again meant the squeezed rib cage situation was back in my full force. I took a deep breath. Ow, ow, ow. Quick, help him onto the bed, said Constance. Now I wasn't sure how they're going to accomplish that. I shook my head and slowly started to push myself up. But instantly they grabbed me under my arms. I led them. Together we managed to lurch this broken body to the bed, and once again I was lying on my back. Your antidote works, said Bill as he sat next to me. Seems to do something all right, replied Constance, sitting to my right. Is there more? I saw Constance shake her head no. What were they talking about? I have a flash of memory then of something red and like blood, of reaching out for it, desperately needed it. I'll make it then, she said. They both seemed to notice my existence again. It's impatient. They looked down at me. Brant, how are you feeling? Oh, swell, horse girl, swell. I closed my hands, braced myself against pain of speaking. This is impossible, said Bill from my left. Well, I'll be honest with you, Bill, old pal. It happened. I felt a rush of shame flow through me. Which is good, because it distracted me for the swearing pain. Hey, gang, I just want to apologize. What on earth for? Asked Constance. Well, this whole situation we found ourselves in. I wheezed and grabbed at my side. Maybe you shouldn't talk anymore, she said, looking so wonderfully worried. Nah, anyway, it's all my fault. I made us open the icebox, follow you to where I wasn't invited, so I'm sorry. I was feeling a little lightheaded now. Please don't, she said. Let me get you some water. She vanished from the view, and I heard the door open and close. I lay there with a thoughtful Bill staring somewhere in front of himself. The perfect view of up his nose, poor little rich kid. Finally looked up down at me again. What was it like? He asked it quietly, as if I didn't want anyone to hear. Sorry, pal, what like? I asked it. When you were... that thing. It was so pale, like a shadow of the fellow I'd known before everything had happened. It's hard to remember. I closed my eyes again, trying to look back. I saw only flickers, like still photographs book, snapshots. There was a lot of darkness, but not like when the lights are turned out. It was a thick, swirling blackness, like being caught in the whirlpool in the depths of the ocean. Then there were moments of bright light, white light in the distance, moving toward it, like how so many folks describe it dying to be. But once I was at that light, I would suddenly be in the room, in a place I didn't recognize. I'm aware of then. I saw Constance, I saw Bill, I saw them, and I saw inside that I was reaching out for them, trying to find them. Something inside me kept dragging me into that light. I don't know how I got to those places. I didn't know where I went when I left. It was like a dream that tonight happened. It was too complicated for me to understand. And how to tell Bill about it. It seems impossible. I'm afraid I can't explain it. Constance was back with the water. Can you sit up, Brent? She asked it. I nodded. I can try. Once again, they gently held me, and for the first time, I felt a little more human. Feeling human was really swell thing to feel. Constance carefully handed me the glass of water, and I took it. It felt so heavy to hold. There was so much substance to it. It was so solid. It really existed in a real existing sort of way. I stared at it. Brant, are you okay? Good question, horse girl. I took a sip of water. The cold ran down my throat. I felt it in my insides. It wasn't fantastic. It tasted so good, better than any soda or fancy drinks I ever had. I had the sudden absurd idea that I should bottle it and try to sell it. I was definitely still a little sloppy. So, I said, holding the glass in my both hands, joining the cold, fresh feeling. What's new? Constance smiled and Bill frowned. I feel like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Home at last. The machine belongs to Joey Drew, explained Constance. The animator? Sure, that's interesting. Does it explain the ink? Asked it. I noticed Constance glazed at Bill, and I turned to look at Bill's reaction. We hadn't thought of that kind of connection, said Bill. Okay, I said. They need to fix the machine and bring it back to New York City. Constance continued. And the monster? You're not the monster. said Bill, more to himself than anything. "I'm flattered that you realize that," I said with a grin. The shame fell up again. I didn't know where the feeling of remorse was coming from. I never really liked this. I guess I always had some guilt, taking on a job that didn't make much money for my own ambition, and not helping my family out more. But of course there was what I was feeling right now, knowing I'd been lying to Bill all this time. But usually I could push those feelings down. "Say, Bill," I said. He looked at me. "I have something I need to confess. Feeling pretty ashamed of myself right now, and I'm not usually one of humanity." I laughed a little, trying to hide my discomfort. Then the sharp pain blew my side heavily. "Well, that's no surprise," said Constance. "You see, that's the other thing we discovered. The ink seems to have an effect on a person, seems to launch onto one's inner demons, as it were." She was looking intensely at me. It was almost ridiculous that she said, unless that was a joke. "It was, and it wasn't," I replied it. "So, if Italy, the ink makes me terrified, I was going to say this now to you two. We don't have time to catch up like this. We don't have time for any of this," said Bill. His eyes actually shaking. It drew me. I felt really sorry for the guy. "What do you mean?" asked Constance. "What do I mean? These men are fixing the machine as we speak." "I was with them. They want to move it soon. Joey said they want to move it tomorrow." I didn't know if they were even still alive down there, with that monster still roaming. But we had to stop them. Bill was almost panting, speaking so rushed and out of breath. "Well, that's what the authorities are for," replied Constance. "Don't be absurd, Constance," said Bill. I felt a little and half an angel and the devil on my shoulders, begging with each other for the moral high ground. It was kind of funny, but also exhausting to keep turning my head back and forth. "Why? That's what the police are there for," said Constance. "Well, maybe other cities, but here in Atlantic City, they are his father's personal security system," I said, wanting the role in this performance. Bill looked at me for a moment and then nodded. "Exactly. It looks like my father and Joey are considered working together." "Ah," I said, "the missing piece of the puzzle. Those men from New York, I thought they were a mob. I think they're also position investors. I think Joey Drew Studios might be in an abundance of cash. The cartoons certainly are not as popular as they once were," said Constance. She thought for a moment. "That machine, and all the ink. I wonder if it's a new way to make cartoons, or maybe invent a whole new kind of film making. We don't even know yet. It's definitely a new kind of ink." "That's for sure," I said under my breath. "So, if we call the authorities, what do we do, Bill?" She sounded anxious herself, but also annoyed. "The machine needs to be destroyed." There was complete silence then. "Tonight," added Bill, in case we couldn't figure that part out. "Why do you propose we do that? We barely survived last time," said Constance, sounding even more frustrated. "Fun story. I didn't," I added. No one found that funny. Once again I felt ashamed. This thing was definitely doing a number on me, all right. "It's not we, Constance. I had to do it. I'm the only one here who knows everything about machines. And it's my fault that the two of you were brought into any of this. It was my father's fault that Joey has the money to make it work again. Besides," said Bill, "I fix things. That's what I do. I had to fix it." "No, just stop it," said Constance. "I'm tired of you boys thinking everything's about you. You might understand the machine that I understand, but I understand the ink. So if this was the plan, I'm going to help you." "It's dangerous," said Bill. "I don't care. I want to do something that matters. Why won't anyone let me do something that matters?" She stood in a rush of anger. I'll tell you what," I added. "Let me help. I bet I can walk properly." Other attempt to cut the tension in with some humor. Then again it felt tough crowd, as Bob Hope might say. "Don't be foolish, Brant," said Constance dismissively. "Hey, look, it'll make a great story, probably even above the fold," I said. "What do you mean?" she asked it. "What?" "It is above the fold." When I realized what I had said, the shame flooded fast and furious. I was drowning again, but this time not in a thick black ooze. I looked at Bill and looked at me. The betrayal on his face was so easy to read. He might as well have written the word across his forehead. "You're the reporter," he said with that non-question of weight of his. "Of course you were. That's the only reason you wanted to be friends, isn't it? That's why you were there that night. You follow us for a story. Look, I said, trying to plumb myself higher, then slipping on the pillow. Yes, I still think you're a swell guy, Bill. I think we are real friends, even the beginning was not as real. I can't believe you. How can you do this to me? Bill, when you think about it, it's not so bad. People meet in all kinds of circumstances. That's what happens after the fact. You asked us to open that icebox. You did it for a story. Well, that's it, Constance said, her voice loud and angry. I will not listen to any of the moment of this. Are you both not aware that time is slipping away from us? Who cares if you're real friends or not? In what world does it matter when the monster is in the loose and the machine filled with the ink that could destroy us all is being shipped into the largest city in America tomorrow? There was more silence. Mine, at the least, filled with emotion. And what Bill had said was true about the ink's effects on him. I would not have been surprised at all if he wasn't completely terrified of Constance in this moment. You're right, he said. I nodded in agreement. Good, so we should go destroy the machine. Yes, said Bill. I nodded in agreement again. Good, said Constance. She took a slow breath to calm herself and released it. Now, let me change out of my dressing gown.